I really, really, really hate these stupid Welcome to Escaping the Echo Chamber. There might be some cursing. There might be a lot of cursing. I'll try to keep it cool. I'll try to keep my cool. And I may or may not edit cursing out. But hey, like I said, I really don't like these dudes. These dudes are some real, absolute, complete scumbags. From a business standpoint, some people may say, "Oh yeah, they're getting their name out there. They're very popular." Yeah, so is Brandon Tatum and Candace Owens, and they're pieces of shit too. So here's the point. I guess the answer is yes. There's gonna be a lot of cursing. Here's the point. These two dudes are of such low character, have no integrity, and they're not even good at the things they claim to be experts at, because this didn't just start with what they did this week, what they did to Asian Doll and the recordings that surfaced. Because it looks like those recordings are stuff they said in the past, I'm guessing sometime last year, and it's revealing who they are as people. But they've done a lot to reveal who they are as people. They've done a lot to let us know what lowlives they are, what cowards they are, what fools they are, what absolute, utter lames they are. They've shown us so much, so much. But let's recap. Because if we start to the scandal from last year that really brought things to a head, that really shined a spotlight on just how trash they are. Abba and Preach talk about, their views on prostitution, and nobody should be paying for sex, and that's like, you're lame if you're paying for sex. And the irony that this dude is on sugar, or these dudes are on sugar daddy sites and sugar baby sites, is just mind-blowing. But from that critique, they decide to go after Abba and Preach, and they proceed to say some stuff. Fresh decides that he's going to talk a whole bunch of shit about about Preach. Talk shit about Preach's country, talk about his wife, and on top, let's not forget, and then he says, yeah, in fact, we should fight. Remember, at this point, violence wasn't even an issue. Violence wasn't even a thought in anybody's mind. Fresh decides, yeah, I'm going to challenge Preach to a fight. What Preach did next was not what he was expecting, because Preach said, yes, let's do it. And now Preach didn't say, I'm coming down to Florida and I'm going to catch y'all slipping. No, Preach said, I'm coming down to Florida. I've got gloves. We could go in the ring. We'll make sure this is all legal. See, here's the thing. If you're running a business, if you're trying to live your life without getting in trouble and without needless complications, unnecessary complications, yes, make sure you don't do stupid stuff like just, random assaults or, violence out in the streets that will put your money at risk, your business at risk. So Preacher's like, hey, we're not going to do no stupid stuff. We're going to do this legitimately. We're going to get in the ring. I'm going to whoop your ass, and then I'm going to whoop your ass. Both of y'all. Both of y'all. Immediately after, their tone changes just a little bit. Now that they start losing subscribers, now that they got called out, now that he accepted the challenge, now all of a sudden they want peace. Now all of a sudden they don't want to talk about fighting no more. Should have never talked about fighting in the first place, but now they've seen the light. Additionally, at this time, you've got several females that are calling them out for their scumbaggery, and particularly Fit right now for his scumbaggery in dealing with women who are supposed to be having professional dealings with. He will later go on to claim that I'm just being honest. I'm being straightforward. No, you're not being straightforward. Because if you contact a woman and say, hey, let's collab for the business, let's work together to promote our businesses, it will be mutually beneficial. Let's do business together. And then you say, oh yeah, by the way, you got to, what? That's not being honest. If you wanted to try to get with the chick, then you could have said that from the beginning, but you didn't. Now, you might not have gotten a response back, but that's why you lied. That's why you started out with, hey, let's collab, because you wanted her attention. And now you said, okay, now I'm going to do the bait and switch. That's not honest. That's not honest. That's not good business. That's not game. Like that shows you're bad at everything. You're bad at business. You're bad at life. You're bad at women. You're just bad. You just suck all around. You're trash. Then we go to Fresh buying a gun on Instagram. Oh no, it has nothing to do with the fact that Preach is coming to Miami, and I was stupid enough to challenge him to a fight that I didn't think he would actually accept. Oh, this has nothing to do with that. I've been trying to get a gun license for months now. And Fit will go on and tell the story about how long it takes to buy a gun in Florida, and Fit was lying. I hope everybody realizes that. Fit was full of shit. Fit was full of shit. Correction, my mistake. Fit is full of shit, because what Fit decided to do was assume that the people that are watching do not know the difference between a concealed carry license and purchasing a firearm. You do not need a concealed carry license to purchase a firearm. I'll say it again. You do not need a concealed carry license to purchase a firearm in Florida. The waiting period to buy a firearm in Florida is, I think, 72 hours, 48 to 72 hours. I had looked it up then, but I forget. But it is not months. So now, there is a process to get a concealed carry license, and that could take months. But the process to get a gun is going to the gun store, picking a gun, filling out the paperwork, paying for the gun, and then coming back 2 to 3 days later and picking up your gun. So no, he was lying. That Instagram game, that was an attempt to intimidate Preach. The same way we should fight. That was an attempt to intimidate Preach, which backfired miserably. And then you try the gun thing, because that's what you do. That's what cowards do. Cowards do dumb shit. Then we have former associate who comes to the crib while they're doing a live. Fit gets his gun, has his gun behind his back, and at first he's like, hey, yeah, don't come in. Then he decides to invite him in. Now this is key, because I want y'all to remember what he says. He says, come inside. Come on, come inside. Knowing full well that if Allende walks through that door, comes all the way inside his apartment, he will shoot him. He will shoot him and claim that this dude is an intruder. It's a good thing. Well, I mean, it's a good thing he wasn't going for that. He knew he had it behind his back. He saw it. He saw his hand behind his back, and he said, hey, oh, what, you're going to shoot me? But the point is, that tells you what type of scumbag. That's enough. That shows you another level of how much a scumbag Myron Gaines is, because he would have done that and then said, hey, the dude intruded. The dude was an intruder. I was just trying to protect myself. I felt scared. He would have pulled a George Zimmerman. And we know he would have done that, because even when Allende did not come in, he lies and says that he broke down the door. Fortunately, Allende had somebody with him, so that when he goes to the door, he just opens it and enters. And it completely destroys the lies, the endless stream of lies coming from Fit's mouth, because Fit is full of shit. Let's fast forward. Let's fast forward to this week when Asian Doll comes to the show. Okay, she comes to the show. Okay, she's late. Okay, she's having a side conversation. He turns and says, hey, you got to stop with the side conversation. Now, you can see his face, like his jaws clenched. He's angry. And she goes, oh, wow, you mean. And it's funny because O'Shea Duke Jackson called it perfectly. He says she's being playful. In fact, she was like lightweight flirting. It was very playful, very flirtatious, very light. And now here's the key. For somebody that claims to have game, for somebody that's supposed to be teaching men how to get women, this dude has no ability to read, to understand, or deal with women. Because at that point, it was an opening for them to like she gave him the lane for everything to be cool, and like a nice banter things could have went so smoothly from there. But in addition to having zero game, in addition to having no game at all, Myron Gaines hates women. Myron Gaines really hates black women. And so his response is not one of playing around, of taking her cue and, hey, okay, this doesn't have to get serious. This can be playful. This can be fun. This can be lighthearted. Hey, cool. He doesn't take that cue. Instead, he's putting his fist down. He's putting his foot down. He's getting mad, and tells her, and she could leave. I'm not mean. It was ridiculous. That reaction to her being very playful and lighthearted with this, his reaction was ridiculous. And then they wind up shutting down the show. I mean, all of this tells you about what a piece of garbage Myron Gaines is. Fresh and Fit, both of them. They're just garbage. But then the clips resurface of them talking about black women. They get asked about, hey, have you tried this app, this black app? It's a black dating app. And like he actually hits the Simpsons laugh. Ha ha. He actually does that. Like, I'm not going on a black dating app. Me date black women? How dare you? Like the absolute indignation he shows his complete and utter contempt for black women, because he later goes on, oh, it's just a preference. No, this clown displayed complete and utter contempt for black women. This piece of shit showed that he just has no respect, no regard for black women whatsoever. In fact, he then decides to start, oh yes, I'm not messing with the Shaniqua. And then the sidekick comes in with the Keisha. You clowns. You stupid motherfucking clowns. But then he goes on. Because then he's got a string of sayings. Yeah, I'm not down with the brown. Like down with the brown. Like, where did you? I'm not a night rider. Like, that sounds like some shit you were sitting around with a bunch of white supremacists talking about. That sounds like you were in a room full of white men who hate black women, and you were just talking shit about black women. That's what this sounds like. It sounds like this scumbag was sitting around with a bunch of white supremacists and talking shit about black women. And then there's the other clip of this guy complimenting a young black lady and telling her, oh yeah, you're not like most, you're not like other black chicks. You're not ratchet and ghetto and loud and annoying. Preference. It's not preference. That's prejudice. That you've prejudged and taken all of these negative characteristics and ascribed them to black women. Like, these are some utter scumbags. These are some utter scumbags. Some punk mother cowards who have zero game and are unfit for the genre in which they claim to be trying to teach, to be able to teach guys how to get women. Myron Gaines hates women, and you can see it in the way he deals with them. It's obvious as But when I look at his defense talking about preferences, he says something. He says, well, no one bats an eye when a woman says, oh, I only like tall men. No one bats an eye when a woman says, oh, I only want a guy with six figures. And that's complete and utter bullshit. Of course people bat an eye. In addition to the fact that you've got entire communities that are criticizing women for having such preferences, that are mad and just mad at women because they're not Because there's a bunch of dudes that are unhappy. They don't meet these standards that these women are saying that they're looking for. In addition to that, like, what's a gold digger? Aha. So yes, that makes no sense. That was a complete and utter lie. Because people have a lot to say when women have preferences. Men have a lot to say. Men get very upset when women say, okay, I only want a dude making $450 and better. You're going to say, oh, she's a gold digger. Woman says, oh, I only want men 6'2" and taller. Oh, then you're going to say, oh, she's shallow. She's superficial. Now, mind you, dudes will say, hey, I want this amount of curves and such. But the point is, men have plenty to say. People have plenty to say when women say, okay, I want X, Y, Z. But let's not even conflate. Let's not even try to equate saying, I want a woman that makes this, I want a man that makes this amount of money, with saying black women are ratchet. Black women are just ghetto. That complete and utter contempt that they showed for black women has nothing to do with just a preference. It's not just a preference. It's some complete contempt and hatred that they have for black women. And they've ascribed all of these negative characteristics. See, it's not the characteristics that they like. It's that they've taken this entire negative set of characteristics and ascribed it solely to black women. Oh, this is black women. This is what they do. They're annoying. And it occurs to me that maybe their interactions with black women have been negative because black women see what pieces of shit they are. As always, don't forget to give me the thumbs up, like, share, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And if you disagree, if you think, oh man, there's nothing wrong with Fresh and Fit. Everybody has their personal preferences and you're just hating. And I'll say, ho, ho, ho. I'm not hating. I'm not hating on them. I just hate them. But if you disagree, you can give me the thumbs down. I'll see you next time.